This is John Lynch of Lynch Solicitors in part 2 of why should you make a will. And this part is why should you make a will and do it right and be careful as to how you do it. And the reason for that, of course, is that a will can be challenged. And that prompts the question, on what basis can you challenge a will? Well, first of all, you can challenge a will because the will itself is unclear or the legal formalities haven't been complied with in making the will. Has it been witnessed correctly? Do the people who are going to benefit under the will, have they been witnesses? Is the property description clear on the will? Are the devices of the gifts or whatever, are they all clear? If there's any uncertainty around the will, that could cause a problem. And the other one, when you're dealing with making a will, is lack of capacity. So in other words, is the person able to make the will? Do they fully understand what's involved in making a will? Do they understand who's going to benefit? Do they understand what assets they have? And this is an important aspect of ensuring that the will stands the test of time, is that if there is any issue around capacity at all, because of the person's age or because of an illness they may have, that in those circumstances, it's always very important to ensure that that's copper fastened by getting a medical certificate to the effect that the person is able to make their will, and also ensuring that the solicitor takes a detailed attendance to ensure that they satisfy themselves that the person has capacity. The other side to capacity is undue influence or duress, and that's where ensuring that if a family member or someone other than a family member is helping somebody to make a will, i.e. bringing them into the office or just giving them some assistance about the details, etc. It's very important that any issue of undue influence or duress is ruled out in those circumstances, because a will can be challenged on that basis. The other thing that often one has to look at there is that there is certain rights that will kick in under a will. So for example, the spouse's legal right share or the partner's legal right share. So in other words, a spouse can't be left out of a will or can't be properly provided for in a will. In those circumstances, a spouse or a partner can look for what they call their legal right share, which gives them an entitlement to a fixed share in the estate. The other side to that is to ensure that children are properly provided for. And again, this is something that is not an automatic right, but it could be the subject matter of a claim by children if they consider they're not being properly provided. And that's what we call a Section 117 application, which is an application by a child against the estate of a parent saying that they hadn't been properly provided for and ought to have been provided for. The other one, of course, that comes up reasonably commonly is a promissory estoppel or breach of promise. So that type of situation arises where somebody was promised something and did something to their detriment on the basis of that promise, and then didn't get a benefit under the will. So for example, somebody comes in, works a farm for somebody on the promise, if you like, that they will get the farm or a share in the farm, and they postpone or don't do anything else during that time, concentrate all their efforts on the farm, and then the will is made or not made and they don't get the farm. In those circumstances, there can be an argument made of a breach of a promise, which can affect the estate. The other circumstance that can arise there is that where children might go in to mind a parent and might move into the house, might build an extension, might put money into the extension, might postpone their career, etc. And in those circumstances, there might be also circumstances where the person can make a claim on the expectation that they should have been looked after. Now, there must be a promise there that they will be looked after. And the overriding consideration of all these things, as in all legal situations, is that you must have evidence. You must prove that there was undue influence, that there wasn't capacity, or that there was a promise. This is John Lynch of Lynch Solicitors, and again, thank you for listening to me.